Namaste everyone. Very happy to meet all of you at this webinar session with the topic Vedanta in a nutshell. We are going to take a look at Ādi Shankarāchārya's Eka Shloki. Eka Shloki is a category of compositions which consist of only one shloka, but all the same contain certain very comprehensive coverage of the essential teachings of a system. In this shloka, which we shall take up now, the nature of the Supreme Reality, which is also our own ultimate true nature, our own Atma Tattva, is revealed as being of the form of consciousness. As a popular expression goes, Atma is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Chit among these three represents the conscious awareness or consciousness. Figuratively, we call it the light. Figuratively because this consciousness is not the kind of light physics talks about. In physics, light is a limited band of electromagnetic waves, Vibgyor as we call them, violet to red, and this light of consciousness is way beyond that mere energy band. We call it light because the light that we talk of physics helps our eyes see names and colors, rather forms and colors. And here consciousness helps us see anything, not only see, it is thanks to the principle of consciousness, thanks to the Chit Tattva, that we are able to hear, we are able to touch, smell, taste, and so on. This Eka Shloki, which in a short while I will recite and then give the meanings, is like a summary of how in the Upanishad the supreme truth is revealed as ear of the ear, eye of the eye, nose behind the nose, and so on. Shrotrasya shrotram, manaso manoyat, vachoha vacham, sau pranasya pranaha, chakshushas chakshuhu, and it goes same way. Because there is this principle of consciousness at the core of our being, our ears, our nose, tongue and so on, as well as mind are able to gain knowledge. All these instruments, if there were no support from the principle of pure consciousness, would not bring to us any knowledge at all. So let's take up this Eka Shloki, which is in the form of a dialogue between a student and a teacher. It runs like this. Kim Jyotir Bhanuman Ahanime Ratrau Pradipadikam Syadevam Ravidipa Darshana Vidau Kim Jyotirakyahime Chakshustasya Nimilanadi Samaye Kim Dhihi Dhiyo Darshane Tatraivaha bhavan paramakam jyotihi tadasmi prabho. A teacher of the Upanishadic wisdom asks her student, tell me, what is light for you? What is light for you? The student says, oh, during daytime, sun is my source of light. Bhanuman ahani me jyotihi. And at night, it is the moon. And here the shloka, pradipadikam, varieties of lamps. In good old days, the oil lamps. Today we have varieties of electric lamps. Pradipadikam. So moon also could be brought in, but the shloka specifically mentions varieties of lamps. The Guru smiles and says, Syad evam. Evam syat. Let it be so. Happy to hear this. But please answer my next question. Ravi Deepa Darshana Vidhau. In the process or in the matter of knowing the sun is shining, of getting to know that this lamp is lighting up the room, what is the principle that helps you know? The student thinks a little and says, well, it is my eyes, chakshuhu. Syadevam ravideepa darshana vidhau kim jyotihi akhyahi me akhyahi. Tell me. Chakshuhu is the one word answer that the student gives. The teacher very cheerfully accepts it, but then takes the student further. All right, Chakshuhu you said, because you have eyes, you are able to not only see the objects, you are also able to see, here is the sun in the sky. Here is a lamp in the corner of the room. So eyes are light. Eyes are the light here. That is good. But tasya nimilanadi samaye. When the eyes close, or for that matter, when the eyes open, what is the light? Obviously, the definition of light already has moved to a higher plane. Light here means that which makes possible knowledge. Tasya nimilanadi samaye kim. And the student ponders, comes out with the answer. Well, I am able to know my eyes have closed, my eyes are open, and so on, because I have what is called the mind. Call it mind, call it intellect. The antakarana is meant. The word used here is dhihi. Chakshuradi nimilana chakshuhu tasya nimilanadi samaye kim. Answer is dhihi. Dhihi is a synonym of buddhihi, and here the word buddhi is used in a very comprehensive sense. It is the whole antakarana. Dhiyo darshane. In the matter of knowing the operation of the intellect, my intellect is working, my mind is functioning, I am able to see, I am able to figure out that my eyes are open. That's how the mind operates. Mind is a source of knowledge. Mind is bringing to us knowledge all the time. So the student is so right. At this level, O teacher, my mind is my light. So please see, here light is that which makes possible knowledge. Sun during the day and lamps during night make possible knowledge of objects. On another level, second level, let us call it, eyes make possible knowledge. In fact, on that second level, you may include all the sense organs. Ears make possible knowledge of sound. Nose makes possible knowledge of smell, and so on. On the third level, where the student has already arrived, it is the mind. If our mind has gone somewhere, many a time it happens, though our eyes are open, we hardly gain any knowledge. Though our ears are open, they are always open, but mind has gone somewhere, no knowledge. There was a student in a classroom whose mind was somewhere else. The teacher was teaching and the student was watching a lizard on the wall moving slowly, and the teacher noticed that this boy is not listening to the class, and in a manner of saying, as we have it in some Indian languages, the teacher asked, "Did you get what I was saying? Did all that I was saying go in?" Meaning go into your head. Did you receive it? Did it go in? Now the student who was watching the lizard just at that moment noticed that the lizard was entering a little hole in the wall. Half was in and half was out. So when the teacher asked, "Did it go in?" with respect to knowledge he was imparting in the class, the student said, "Sir, half has gone in, other half is out still." So you see, if the mind has gone somewhere, attention is somewhere else, one would answer talking about the lizard and not about the knowledge that the teacher was imparting in his lecture. All right. So he is mind here. So 3 levels. Sun and lamps, level 1. Eyes and other sense organs, level 2. And mind, level 3. There are not too many levels, don't fear. Eka Shloki is simple, crisp, and as we have titled this webinar, it is Vedanta in a nutshell. Dhiyo darshane. How do we know your thoughts are functioning? How are you aware of thoughts? How are you aware of your feelings? The student is really cornered. In a way, he is driven to the wall. But we must presume that the student is a very mature girl or boy, or lady or man, and the student is delighted to be led like this in 3 swift steps. And the student says, "Well, now I see the point. You are asking, how do I know my thoughts?" And he says, "Tatra, in this matter, if you take me that far, I know my thoughts not out of yet another instrument, yet another medium, yet another tool. Rather, I know because my nature is to know. Tatra eva aham." The answer here is not Bhanuman, not Chakshuhu, not Dhihi. The last answer is aham. I am the light. That's it. The teacher triumphantly says to the student, "Well, you have answered the deepest question of this inquiry into truth. Tatraivaham was the words of the student. Ataha, therefore, Bhavan." The teacher is saying to the student, "You, Bhavan, Paramakam Jyotihi." Not ordinary light, but Paramam Jyotihi. Paramam itself is Paramakam. Paramam Jyotihi. And the shloka concludes with the student acknowledging, accepting this revelation. Paramakam Jyotihi. The student says, "Tadasmi Prabho." O Master, O my Lord, Tat Asmi. This is equivalent to Aham Brahmasmi. I am that light. You are right. I am so delighted to realize now who I am. My nature is not the body, not the senses, not mind. I am actually of the nature of pure consciousness. Tad asmi prabho. Kim jyotir bhanuman ahanime ratrau pradipadikam syadevam ravidipa darshana vidhau kim jyotirakhyahime chakshustasya nimilanadi samaye kim dhir dhiyo darshane tatraivahamato bhavan paramakam jyotihi tadasmi prabho. This was the shloka on which we spoke. Just a few comments, then I shall invite questions. This light is a figurative expression for the truth of pure consciousness. What do we mean by pure? Here, the simple explanation is the principle of consciousness independent of any object. Whether there is knowledge of an object or not, whether there is a knowledge of A or B, X or Y, this principle of knowing shines forth. It is ever present. The Vedantic vision of the essential nature of our being is we are this pure consciousness. And to realize that I am pure consciousness and nothing more, nothing less, makes significant difference to the quality of our life. In the absence of this knowledge, we identify with the body, with the personality. We are filled with many ideas of how worthy or unworthy we are, how successful we are, or what a failure we are. Countless thoughts rise in us, judging us, and mind you, this judgmentalism is a double-edged sword. The moment we judge ourselves as a success, somebody else is a failure. Or when another day we lament, I have been a failure, we are thinking of somebody else as a success. So the duality, the plurality, the divisions, and the heartburn thereof. Here and there we are proud and triumphant, but for one occasion where we are mighty pleased, there are 9 occasions where we are unhappy or we are full of regrets. That is called sansara. The Vedanta's answer to mitigate this worldly existence and all the sorrows that accompany it is realize who you are. Find out who you are. We call Eka Shloki very comprehensive and covering a very essential topic in great brevity, because this pointing out your chit is so fundamental. Pointing out your sat, your pure existence with no dependence on any name or form. You don't have to exist as this or as that. You don't have to exist as a man or woman. You don't have to exist as a wealthy person or a poor person. Those are all what we call qualified existence. We talk about wood being described, let's say, in the form of a chair. This is chair, wood as chair. Another place, wood as table. So existence as table, chair, etc. is qualified existence relatively, and wood by itself is unqualified existence. Savishesha satta and nirvishesha satta. Satta means existence. Likewise, to point out we are ananta, limitless, we have no boundaries. It's only because of identification that we feel bound and bounded, is also a fundamental revelation. The Taittiriya Upanishad gives these 3 pointers: Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Brahma is Satya, Brahma is Jnana, Brahma is Ananta. This Ananta itself in popular Vedanta literature has metamorphosed to Ananda, Satchidananda. When we have no limitations, no boundaries, we are bound to be free of sorrow. All our sorrow is because we feel limited. I want to have a bigger house, but I can't. So that sense of limitation. I want to have lots of knowledge, but I feel my knowledge is limited. Therefore, there is a logical connection between limitless Ananta and blissful Ananda. Thus, this Eka Shloki, let me admit and hasten to add, reveals our nature as Chit. Whether something reveals our nature as Sat or Chit or Ananta, these being so fundamental, so primary, we would say it does a fine job of covering very essential ground. Therefore, Eka Shloki attributed to Ādi Shankarāchārya is of a great value in the Vedanta literature, and the construction of it, the shloka is made into a sweet short dialogue showing 4 levels of knowledge taking place. So step by step, the student is led to understand and appreciate her own nature or his own nature as pure consciousness. This is about it. Eka Shloki is simple and straight, and it helps us see we are pure awareness. Let me pause here and welcome questions, invite suggestions or comments. Namaste. Let me see if somebody has raised her hand, his hand, to ask a question. Yes. Purna is here. I enable her microphone. Yes, it's on. Yes, Purna.
Namaste, Swamiji. I hope you've had a good trip with the US.
Yes, yes. It's coming close to its end. Yeah.
Now, Swamiji, it was a wonderful to hear you again and to hear this Eka Shloki. There is a question which I wanted to ask you regarding this Eka Shloki's, the various steps that you have highlighted. You first talked about the light from the lamps and from the sun and from the moon, etc. Then the next step was through the sense organs. And the next step was the mind.
Correct.
The third step. The last step, however, is not explained in how we made this huge leap between the mind and the absolute realization of what is our true nature. Now, this particular step seems to be the most impossible step, because how do we make this step? This leap is into the space, I think, like going into NASA or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. That is why Deepak Chopra calls it a quantum leap. All
the
these
quantum leap, yes.
All others are understandable. This defies our understanding at times. Therefore, one has to have some more deliberation. Many a time we celebrate our understanding. Oh, I got it. Actually, one has to double check. Is my delight, is my pleasure merely in the concept, merely in the words? You see, somebody was reciting Mano Buddhi Ahankara and said, I almost realized the self when I recited. But later on, upon inquiry, he himself understood that he was actually enjoying the lyrics, enjoying the tune, and he was enjoying the Sanskrit. So, You know, if you permit me to give another example, somebody went to a Satyanarayana or some puja and came back and said, I thoroughly enjoyed that function. Then when the friend said, just introspect and tell me whether it was puja you enjoyed or something else. Then slowly he reveals, actually I don't know what happened, what puja it was. But when we entered, they gave some soft drinks. In between also delicious prasad, refreshments. At the end, most delicious and fragrant prasad was given. So, yeah. It was the ambience, it was the air-conditioned hall, it was the company. So, sorry for giving that rather very mundane example. But seriously speaking, 99 out of 100 Vedanta students say that, oh, I love Vedanta. They actually are happy with some kind of conceptual beauty, verbal beauty. They haven't understood the message as it is. Okay, so what does it mean? If you inquire, what does it mean to be the awareness? What is awareness? What is pure consciousness? And what it is to say, I am consciousness and I am not this personality, then this inquiry, this continued investigation opens up many more issues involved, and that leads to shedding the false identification. So that is the leap. It is the leap has to be brought out or brought about by total clarity.
Swamiji, and the question which follows is, the minute you say, I think I know that I am the pure consciousness, itself reveals a certain ego in that. Because I do not know if we can always realize that we are pure consciousness without the fact that we are revealing that our identity is so important to us.
Yes, well said. That is why I said in the webinar in the beginning that here is a mature student. When an immature student says, oh yeah, I know, I am the awareness, that could be ego, that could be a confusion. But a mature student says, I am the light behind knowing the mind, its thoughts. We have reason to believe that he has said it with no trace of ego or pride. It is an assertion, it is a statement that arises out of clear seeing. So, I do see your point. In 999 cases, it may be an egoistic response, but someone who has really seen also has to say the same. Don't think that someone has really seen the truth will say something else. So 1 out of 1,000 would be sincere, and by context, that is the kind of person here. In this Kali Yuga especially, the number of people who say Aham Brahmasmi without knowing what they are saying is increasing. That is a problem of Kali Yuga.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome. Let me see who else. Yes. Professor Gopal Krishnan. Yeah, your mic is on now.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Pure consciousness, we see it as Sat and Chit. Existence and intelligence.
Correct.
But they are one and the same. Is very difficult to comprehend. At the mental level, they are different. Can you explain at the mental level a little bit further how they are one and the same?
Right. So they are one and the same. To appreciate that, there is a logic provided. If Chit were different from Sat, then it would be Asat, which means non-existent. Therefore, Chit has to be same as Sat. Because Sat is the very principle of existence. If Chit were to be other than Sat, it's a contradiction. Because anything that is pervaded by Sat. In the same way, if Sat were to be different from Chit, it would be dead and inert, because Chit represents very life principle. And every one of us has no doubt about one's own existence. Many a time you and I ask about somebody, somebody's father, is he still alive? Is she still around? But do we ever ask anyone, am I still around? Am I alive? We don't, because our existence is beyond doubt, and our being aware also is beyond doubt. So this much can be said about Sat and Chit being inseparable. And lastly, in this phenomenal world, two objects are different because they may be located at two different points of time, or they may be located at two different points of space. But we are talking of a level of this pure existence awareness where space and time have not risen yet. Therefore, being different in terms of spatial location or in terms of temporal location is not admissible here. So there also we will have to admit that Sat and Chit are one. If you have some Rubik cube or one such object, it is in space. The upper surface of the Rubik cube is different from the lower surface. The right surface is different from the left surface, because the Rubik cube in the first place exists in space, in x, y, z coordinates. Whereas pure awareness is something in which space exists, in which time exists. That is the order of reality accorded to this Sat-Chit. Therefore, there is no basis for calling Sat and Chit separate, and therefore they are considered one only, but two pointers are given. It is one and not even two faces of one reality. The reality doesn't have that kind of faces, upward, the upper face, lower face, right face, left face, no, because it transcends space.
Thank you, Swamiji. But in our can we focus only on Chit in our efforts to realization without bothering? Can we focus our attention only on Chit?
You can, definitely, because to catch hold of any one of these with all your strength leads you to the realization. One is enough. Yeah. They are all entry doors. One door is enough to enter a hall. There may be 3 doors, 5 doors, but we need just one door to enter.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. We now go to Dinesh Burman. Yeah.
Swamiji, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Dinesh ji.
I wanted to I was thinking the same thing going back to the first caller. And so it's kind of like what I'm saying is in a form of a question, that the gap or the leap for that student who was talking to the Guru.
The last gap,
is that the gap can be defined as understanding by our intellect versus experienced by the consciousness. So that student experienced it, we normally understand it.
Yeah, you may say it is an experience. However, it is not a sensory experience. And when we think of the nature of that experience, it is in fact a special mode of the intellect's operation only, because it is the intellect which is all the time doing the propaganda. I am this body, I have a long way to go, I have to meditate more, or I have to earn more, whichever, on a gross plane or a subtle plane. The intellect is the one that does the noise, and in this leap, as we called it, the intellect recognizes that all these are false and becomes silent. So, though it is an experience, to me it seems the intellect is not a non-player there. The intellect is a major player. Therefore, in the traditional Vedanta, the word emphasized time and again is Vakyartha Jnana, Vakyartha Jnana. It is the right understanding of the meaning of a statement like Tattvamasi. And right understanding takes place in the intellect. But this is a unique mode, operation mode of the intellect, because everywhere else the intellect turns outward and gets the details of an object. If my intellect is looking at a rose, oh, how big this is, what color this is, and what fragrance it has. These are all outer things. In this matter, the intellect is active, but in an inturned mode. When it turns inward, it becomes silent, but doesn't mean it is inactive. It intensely sees that I am something without any limits. Or sometimes we use the language of negation. The intellect drops a whole lot of noise it was doing before, a whole lot of assertion about physical, emotional, intellectual, etc. It was doing, it drops it. So it's like, you have a friend who was arguing a lot, then when you convinced him, he keeps quiet, he smiles at you. So his understanding and his acknowledgement of your right arguments is accompanied by his becoming silent and maybe sometimes showing much gratitude. So though he is silent, he actually has understood. Though the intellect in one sense has no role to play, it has played a major role. It becoming silent itself is a major contribution of it. It's not the silence forced upon it. In the intellect, it becomes silent out of an extraordinary understanding. It is not with a whip in hand or a stick in hand. It is said that if you merely use willpower or take a drug, for example, or you just do some japa and quieten the mind, that kind of stilling the mind, that kind of quietening the mind doesn't bring knowledge. Vakya vichara, tattvamasyadi vakya vichara illumines this intellect. The intellect sees that the positions I have taken all these days are rooted in being presumptuous, they are false. So the intellect is very much involved. I would say it is experience but different from sensory experiences. It is understanding but different from the usual forms of understanding. So words fail and we do not know really. When it happens, I guess it happens.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, welcome, Dineshi. Let me see. This webinar I am doing from Florida, and I have just a few people around me here. I welcome them also to ask any question if there is any. Right now they are smiling like the student at the end of the shloka. Tadasmi Prabho. I am that. But those who are here online are also, yes. Somebody in Tampa itself, not where I am sitting at this moment, Indira Shastri has a question to us. Yes, Indira.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Good to hear you again and again today for the third time. And my question is, the Natatra Suryo Bhatina Chandra Tarakam, is it not similar to the same, conveying the same message?
Of course, very much, very much. Yeah. The Upanishad mantra, Natatra Suryo Bhati, asserts that Brahman is the light of all lights. And that is expressed in another way here in this shloka. Very true.
Swamiji, I have a question.
Okay. I wonder who is speaking. Oh, sorry. I thought it is someone else. And 1 minute, I'm again activating it. Oh, yeah. Just a moment. I muted the mic. It's on, Sridharji.
My question is, you talked about Sat and Chit about this one. What about Ananta or Ananda? I mean, like they're all going together, or they like, you know, it is a different, or it is not follows.
Yeah. All of them go together, but a particular passage, particular shloka may highlight one of the three. So this shloka happens to highlight the Chit aspect. Though we use the word aspect, that is limitation of the language. It's not an aspect like, you know, you see a statue of a Panchamukha Hanuman and the 5 faces are distributed in space. So we are not to imagine that Sat, Chit and Ananda are distributed in space. As we said in the talk also, space itself is inferior to this truth. So something grosser than space can be conceived in space. But here this truth is more sukshma, subtler than space. Therefore, the word aspect is just used for want of any other word. You may say these are all lakshanas, Sat, Chit and Ananta. Ananta then being made popular as Ananda. These are pointers to one truth. And they are one only. They are not. Just as for a chair, you may say the upper part of the chair, lower part of the chair, the north side of this table and the south side of the table. But suppose somebody says, yesterday you got very angry. What was the upper part of anger looking like, and this, this eastern side? Then you humbly say, well, with regard to something like anger, there is no southern side and northern side. So because it's very sukshma. Like that, this pure consciousness, pure existence is so sukshma, it just doesn't admit in it space-wise divisions or time-wise divisions. Space and time are not born in it. Yeah, Ananta Ananda is also a pointer. This shloka doesn't touch on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
There is a shloka, there's a question here from the audience right here.
Swamiji, the consciousness that understood this fact.
Yeah.
The intellect maybe was quiet. The antarchakshu.
Yes.
Is it just a flash of consciousness that grasped it, but we are not able to establish in that state, maybe, because it is masking us back again?
Yes, I repeat the question. When this understanding takes place, is it just a flash? And is it possible that even though a flash of understanding took place, one meaning the sadhaka is unable to establish oneself in that understanding? So is it like that is the question. A flash of understanding takes place, but we are unable to establish, gain nishtha there. The Shastras here say, if right understanding has taken place, then that's it. It is a point of no return. But if there are in sattvic moments of the mind, if there is a great appreciation, a great delight and a sense of, this is now becoming clear, then that is where nishtha and lack of nishtha can be talked about. One stays there or one slips. If actually the flash has taken place, the Siddhanta goes that is, the goose is cooked. There is no point of return. In texts like Ramana Gita, this has been clarified. Does realization take place gradually, or does it happen at one go, at one instant? And Ramana Maharshi has said there in one of the chapters of Ramana Gita that realization is an a one instant affair. But if there is a sense of gaining nishtha slowly and steadily, that is actually within the field of the sadhana. One is not a siddha, and those are not realization itself. Those are certain sattvic or sattva rich states of consciousness. This is a very mind-boggling topic actually. But to say in one sentence, the realization takes place in one instant, which burns away time itself. The moment it takes place, there is no time left, there is no space left. One becomes intuitively clear of a timeless, spaceless dimension of oneself. While in the vyavahara, in the transactional sphere, some kind of space, time, etc. go on. They always where they will be. Just as even after you realize that there is no actual sunrise, the sun seems to rise. But you know very well, beyond a trace of doubt, that the sun is not rising. The apparent sunrise, or in a glass of water you put a pencil, it will continue to look bent, even when you know that the pencil has not suffered even the least bend. That way, the names and forms will have their own dynamics, but you are continuously aware, once this flash has taken place, that you have nothing to lose, nothing to gain, you are indestructible, and so on.
Although I tend to for a second think it is a flash of consciousness that occurred, maybe it is possible. I appreciate that logic so much.
Yeah.
That this must be true.
Correct.
But it is may not be more than that. I don't know.
If it is a flash and then it goes away, then it wasn't actual realization at all. It was a deep appreciation, quite a rich appreciation of the.
It's like an aha moment.
It's an aha moment. That's all. It's not.
If that mind or intellect is so subtle, when the teacher says Tattvamasi, the student says Aham Brahmasmi.
Yes, yes.
That happens. It's like that.
So one more comment was made by Ramakrishna here, sitting around me. Earlier question was by Sridhara. So Ramakrishna says that if the mind of the student is very mature, very pure and subtle enough, the moment the teacher says Tattvamasi, the student is able to figure it out and instantly answer Aham Brahmasmi. Yes, that is well taken. So the Siddhanta actually maintains that if there is true receptivity at the same instant that the Upanishad is given, the whole job is done. So it is said in a poetic language, saying that this realization doesn't require time at all. When it happens in no time, and it leaves no time. That is, it destroys the axis of time. The moment the subject knows the matter, the subject-object division itself disappears. It is another poetic as well as a very insightful statement. So we take one.
Pranam Swamiji. Rani Limaye was waiting since long. Just now she has put her hands down.
All right. Is it text or it is voice?
It's a voice. We can enable this mic.
I am enabling. Yes. Yes, Rani.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. It's been a long time and it's a very wonderful discussion, very mind-boggling. And just one thought came when we say experience, and you just now explained very wonderfully that either it's all or none law. You can't have it piecemeal, you have to have it fully. The only thing is, and again, since that has been explained, my question becomes kind of redundant, but I will ask it, that can we bring out energy in between here somewhere? When we talk about consciousness principle, we talk about awareness. Can the energy principle come here as energizing us even to walk on this path, or having those thoughts, because thought after all is an energy.
Yes. You know, if everything requires energy, and spiritual sadhana requires energy. However, through various means, various breathing techniques, asana, pranayama, various maybe right food, through mantra, through consuming something, so many ways we can enhance our energy. However, as you get into Jnana Yoga, you will discover something very wonderful. The energy that you draw from right insight is far superior. This is like saying the energy that love can give you, energy that truth can give you, is of a far greater value. So certain insights and certain clarity unloads or unburdens you, and so much of energy is released. It's like, you know, somebody had a lot of money in a bank account but did not know. When he comes to know, he feels, you know, so relieved, and he is unburdened. So in the same way, when we see the ego to be false, you know, for example, one of us is nursing a hurt, one of us is nursing a wound, but suddenly if there is a spiritual insight that it is utterly meaningless to remain hurt, you know, and one sees that this hurt is a mere confusion. If one sees actually, not just uses the word. When the hurt goes away, there was an operation of energy. So my summary answer is, energy does come into this picture, but even there, energy of attention, energy of seeing, energy of right insights is far superior to the energy that one may derive from some exercises, physical breathing, or special food, etc.
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you.
All right. We permit now one last question to Purna, who was the opening batsman. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't enable the mic. Now it's on.
Yeah, Swamiji, the last question I wanted to ask you was that there is a book in great discussion in India now by Arun Shauri regarding Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharishi, regarding the kind of insights and siddha they were, saying that it may be just neurological from the medical point of view. So they were talking, so he was talking about, you know, that it is, you know, from various points of medical knowledge. Now, I'm not a medical person, so we were just listening to this argument that this kind of trances and this kind of absolute realization that you are not the body, but you are a consciousness, comes only to very rarely in the form of some kind of a neurological disturbance. Now, I'm not sure what you think about it and what your observation is, Swamiji, but maybe you could comment about it.
I came to know of this book. Some people over WhatsApp sent to me the picture of the cover page and some reviews, etc. I haven't been able to go through those reviews, which are links to websites. So please permit me some time. I will try to take a look at it, and hopefully in a month or two we can even have one webinar on Ramana, Ramakrishna, Arun Shauri's views.
Yes.
One of us can do that. But right now, I don't know what he has written. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you and namaste, all of you. This was wonderful with very good participation from your side.
Pranam, Swamiji.